I'm going to show you how I make hair scrunchies. I think they're super fun and comfortable to wear, so I've been experimenting. I'm going to show you how I make them with this sort of dance wear knit, which is how I made all of these. It's like a shiny dance wear leotard material. And then I'm going to show you just a regular knit like you would make with t-shirts. I'm going to show you a cotton and also some of the faux leather crackle vinyl that I sell in my shop. I'll show you how I do those. This scrunchie is made with the faux crackle vinyl. And it's super stretchy, very comfortable. It's really not any different than the dance wear scrunchies at all. I have a ton here. This one's cotton, another cotton, lots and lots of knit. This one's a cotton. They're super simple and easy. So here we go. First of all, cut your knit or fabric, cotton, whatever you're using, to about 2.5 inches by 19 inches long. And then you're going to want a 1/4 inch braided elastic. I have plenty in the shop if you don't have any on hand, but this is the size that I felt the best in the hair. When you go wider than this, it just feels too thick and chunky. So take your fabric and fold it lengthwise, right sides together. Place one end of the elastic down at the end and sew that short end, catching that elastic as you're sewing. I go over the elastic 2 or 3 times because I really want to make sure I have it secure. Now turn and pivot, and we're just going to sew down the length. We're not touching the elastic anymore, just move it out of the way. And we're sewing down the length of this scrunchie. Now a lot of people will ask at this point, am I doing a straight or a zigzag stitch? I'm doing a straight stitch, and it's a level 3.5, which is a longer stitch. I have done zigzag as well. I did not notice a difference. My straight stitch scrunchies have not broken. Nothing has happened at all. So if you have a zigzag, you can do a zigzag. If you don't, it still works. I'm not pulling on the knit. This is just my 1/4 inch foot. And I go all the way off the end. Now at this point, you're going to take the loose end of the elastic and bring it down to the other end and sew it down to only one side. So you have to move that second side out of the way and attach it down to just one side of the scrunchie. Go over it a couple of times. So now it looks like this. So now we turn the scrunchie inside out. This is the most tedious part, but it's not terrible. Put on a show and get a bunch of these at this point, and then sit down on your couch and turn them all right side out at the same time. It goes pretty quick. Okay, it's all the way to the end. Pull it out as best you can and flatten it with your fingers. Now the open end, I tuck in the raw edges about 1/4 of an inch that's not detrimental. Just tuck it in so your raw edges aren't going to show. And then tuck in that closed end into the open end. And with a matching thread, you're just going to sew right over the tip. I'm going to use white thread so you can see what I'm doing. It's tucked in there. I'm going to trim these threads, and with a matching thread you will not notice the stitching. And look, in just a couple of minutes you have a super cute scrunchie. And you can play with the dimensions if you want to make them wider, fluffier. I made some in velvet that are really quite wide, but my kids prefer this size because it can wrap around a ponytail twice, just the right amount of stretch, and just what they like. If you're making some for somebody with really thick hair, you might want to play with your amount of elastic. Always make the elastic roughly half the length though of your hair scrunchie. Otherwise, it doesn't scrunch. It's just looks like a flat tube. Okay, so let's do the cotton one. I'm going to measure my elastic to be 8 inches. I've got my fabric here, 2.5 by 19, folding it over right sides together. I'm going to sew down the short end with the sewing machine. Pivot, move the elastic out of the way. Take the free elastic end, bring it down to the remaining short end, one layer only. Move the bottom layer out of the way. Turn it right sides out. Sometimes it can help to pull the corners out with the pin gently. Okay, tuck raw edges in on the open end. Okay, it's tucked in. I'm going to sew this down. And there's the cotton one. Super cute. Get that pile just growing. These would make great stocking gifts too. Okay, so for the vinyl one, you can make this exactly the same way as these. I did it. It just took longer to pull it right sides out. I had to have some patience and pull it right sides out. So what I want to do for this time is fold each long edge in about 1/4 inch. Just finger press it down. This will make it just a little bit easier. You will see some stitching, but in the hair, you're never going to see that. So let's give this a try. Both long edges. Tuck your elastic in here first in the middle and then bring your edges over. And I'm just going to put one on both sides so the elastic and the long edges are meeting. I'm going to sew down this edge right now, this short edge, and then I'm going to pull this elastic down and sew down this short edge. Pulling the elastic down. Okay, so at this point, I sort of go about halfway down, or as much as I can, until I start getting annoyed because the elastic is pulling so tightly. And then the rest of this, I'm going to pull as I sew. You can see it wants to scrunch already. So this will be fun. Let's see what happens. To be safe, I'm going to change to my Teflon foot, which is what I always use when I sew vinyl. It's a game changer and well worth the investment. When you stop, always stop with your needle down so you don't lose your place. It is starting to be more difficult to pull. So sew a few bits, or I don't know, centimeters, and then stop and refold and do some more. Centimeters, that's my England coming out in me. So just like before, the raw edge will get folded down and the closed end gets tucked inside. Put a clip to hold it, and we're just going to sew right across there and close that. Use a matching thread. For this tutorial, I'm going to use white so you can see what I'm doing. Nothing wrong with hand cranking through if your machine is being ornery. I'm going really slowly. Okay, Okay, so we've got it sewn down. The vinyl won't fray, so if you have a bit of a raw edge here that didn't get hit like I do, don't worry about it. It's not going to fray. It's not cotton. Trim any threads that you see. And there's that scrunchie. Just as stretchy as all the rest. It's so fun. I love the multicolors of this vinyl. This is the Crackle faux leather vinyl in my shop, and I have it in rose gold, deep space, which is this one, pink nebula, silver, and copper. Yes, you can sell these, you guys. Nobody owns any rights to scrunchies. Do your thing, have fun, and let me see what you make because I want to support you. Thanks for watching.